Hello everyone. So welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we'll see description about Chinese remainder theorem. So before starting the description about Chinese remainder theorem, let's see exactly where we are now. Since already we are aware with this tree structure, and already we have started with the exercise number 2. In exercise number 2, we have covered Diophantine equation, inverse modulus calculation, and linear congruence Ax congruent to B mod of M, and where we have calculated the value of x. So now we'll start with Chinese remainder theorem description first, and then after completion of description we'll go to the problem solving part. So first we'll start with the description. So first we'll see the statement of Chinese remainder theorem. Chinese remainder theorem is very simple, and this statement says that if we have the set of congruence, right? In Chinese remainder theorem they will never give the one congruence. Here the set of congruence will be there, and where every congruence will have three parameters x, ak, and mk. And in all congruence, if we will going to find the GCD of AK and MK, then it will be 1. If this condition happen, it means that this set of congruence has a unique solution. Again I am reading this statement. This statement says that Chinese remainder theorem says that if you have set of congruence with the parameter x, ak, and mk, and where the GCD of ak and mk is 1, if this condition happen, it means that this set of congruence has a unique solution. And if you see the arrangement of set of congruence, so congruence will be arranged in this fashion, which is shown in this congruence. And this congruence, if you see over here all the parameter x will be given in the left side, and on right side two parameter will be there, a1 and m1. So a1 will be the first operand and m1 will be the second operand. The similar case also repeated with the a2 and m2, a3, m3, ak, and mk. So now Chinese remainder theorem says that if the set of congruence will be given in this fashion, and if the GCD of ak and mk is 1, in that case the value of, if you're going to estimate the value of x over here, so the x will have only single solution. So that's why we call it as a unique solution. I hope this theorem is clear to you, and if it is not clear, then don't worry. Again we'll come to the problem solving part. Over there we will going to understand in detail. I hope a little bit something you understood in this thing, right? Now, so to calculate x, we can use the formula over here. With the help of this formula, we can calculate the value of x. And if you see the parameter inside the calculation, here we have the parameter small a1. So small a1 can be obtained from first congruence, and a2 can be obtained from second congruence, and similar a3 and ak can also be obtained, right? And then they are saying one more parameter here we have capital M1. So here capital M1 can be calculated with the help of this formula. Capital M1 is nothing but equal to capital M upon small m1, and small m1 will be obtained from here. And one more parameter is there. If you want to calculate m1, capital M1, then we should have the value of capital M, and capital M can be calculated with the help of the formula. Capital M is equal to m1, m2, m3, up to how many m we have, all m will be multiplied, and then accordingly we'll get the capital M, and from capital M we can obtain what? Capital M1. And similarly we can find the capital M2, capital M3, and capital MK will be calculated. So now here we have calculated A1, here we have calculated M1. Now see the calculation of S1, S2, and S3 up to SK we can see, right? Where the S1 can be calculated with the help of the formula. S1 is equal to capital M1, and capital M1 has been calculated over here. Capital M1 inverse mod of M1, and small m1 is nothing but, here we will get the value of small m1 from a comparison of a set of congruence. The similar case can be applied for S2, S3, and SK. So this is all about the Chinese remainder theorem. So this is the end of this lecture, and from the next lecture we'll start with the algorithm part. Then after that we'll see problem solving part. Thank you.